The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Good morning, everyone, from the offices of Duke & Duke, 100 South Broad Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we are having a special guest today at 9:30. We've got another one of the Timer Digest winners, Barry Rosen from FortuneCast. He's a financial astrologer. He'll be joining us at 9:30. He goes way back to those days with Don Mack back in with Jerry Bombering and stuff, way back in the, well, he was in the 80s, I was in the 70s, but he certainly knows his material, and he's always ranked very, very high up in the Timers Digest, so that'll be fun to talk to him. We'll do a quick review of what we did so far this week. On Monday, we had Shane Smolian on, who told us that we were about ready to have a pretty good break in the market, and we certainly did. We finished that big ABCD pattern in the S&P down at that 2025 level. Yesterday, that was right at the, I believe, the 786 of the last move that we had. And now we've had a pretty good rally back. But again, what the rally is doing, it's fooling everybody, because the market itself is not rallying anywhere near like that. We'll show this chart here of the New York Stock Exchange Index, and you can see here that this is really a dead cat bounce. Unless we're up like 400 points or something today, that's really all you have to look at. But we'll see. We should have some resistance at this 786 level in the S&P around 2055 to 2058, I believe, are the two numbers that come in at that area. But you know, we've rallied 30 handles overnight, so unless you're trading overnight, you don't really, get the value of buying that ABCD pattern down there right near the close, and then away it goes to the races. Then on Wednesday, we had Norm Winsky on. That also reiterated because of the moon and Zizirzy, with the closest to the Earth that we have, is it gives us a shot at lower prices, which in fact did happen. And we talked a little bit about the stocks of the S&P 500, and those are about 50 stocks in there. There's about 25 in the NASDAQ stocks, and then there's the 30 Dow stocks that are making this whole thing jump the way that it's going. So be really careful, folks, on the indices. Well, the indices are easy because they follow the numbers pretty well, but your individual stocks, can certainly be a lot different, than what's going on in the market. So be careful as you go through this. I was noticing that Under Armour was down $40. Is that because there was a split? I don't remember. I don't follow that stock, but I did follow the fact that they have trying to get Stephen Curry as one of their folks, but I guess they did split. Yeah, I figured it would be. Anyway, let's go on to the next thing that we wanted to cover. We've had a couple of requests here. One of them we've already covered, copper. I put that as the first chart into the system to look at. The next one we've had a request on is natural gas. And if anybody is capable of talking to me about natural gas, it has to be our good friend Kyle Cooper down in Houston, who does a good job when he comes on the air to tell us. And the last time he was on, we had this 3 drive to a bottom pattern in the daily pattern in natural gas. And as you can see, we broke out. We came down and touched a 20-minute line almost exactly at a 61% retracement. And now we've had a pretty good bounce off the bottom. So that tells us that we're most probably going to get up to the 215 area, which is the 61% retracement of that move that we're watching. And since we're talking about 61% retracements. We are looking at one right now, boys and girls. As we go here to Tiger TV, we are looking at crude oil at 39.36 in the spot crude. That's a 61% retracement off of the high we made back on March the 18th. So keep a close eye on that puppy, because that makes it a Gartley. You've got a beautiful ABCD pattern that is lined up that sets up, very, very nicely. So watch that one also. The other big one that I think is relatively important from a standpoint of things that we've been talking about here at Tiger TV is the note and bond markets, because we hit those spot numbers and the notes spot on yesterday. The number in the bonds was at 167. They made a high at 167.06 after market, and we're down a whole handle, down trading at 166.06 right now. So that's certainly lined up perfectly with those Fibonacci numbers and patterns that we were looking at in both the notes and the bonds. I wanted to talk a little bit about the corn market and the grains and stuff. So we'll start out with that. We'll start out with the November beans, because they are acting more bullish than any of the others, because they've had a better run and they haven't backed off very much. As you notice, new crop soybeans, those are the ones that won't be planted here until late April, early May, and they'll be harvested sometime in late October, November. And this is where we've got that three higher bottom pattern. That was the 135 pattern that was popularized by our good friend Bill Longstreet and his famous father, Roy Longstreet. We're looking to see if we can get these November beans down to near the 8.95 level one more time. That's about 15 to 20 cents from where we are right now, and we still got a chance for that to happen, but we are waiting for that. We're not going to buy any breakout here. We need to wait until we get down to this area. It could be coming in on the 24th when we have this lunar cycle that'll be coming in again. We will have a new moon around that time, and that'll give us maybe a pretty good chance here to get into the bean market again, much like we did last year. That was in May last year when we had the huge cycle and the big Gartley pattern in May beans before they rallied $1.50 a bushel, very, very quickly. So we'll be keeping our eye, very closely on that one. And then we'll also be looking at the corn market. And I'm going to talk just a little bit here about the differences between the corn. The first one we're going to show here is this is your nearby corn. This is your May and July corn. And that's old crop corn. That's stuff that's in the bin already that they're selling. And of course, when we have a weak dollar, our corn and stuff is much cheaper than other countries. So we want to watch that also. But the December corn has gone down and made new lows. We have taken out the lows from September of 2014, not just 2015, but 2014, with a very, very bad report. And then for the last 5 days, of course, corn has been rallying. So we want to keep a close eye on this one also. 877-927-6648.
John Logan has just announced that he is hosting a workshop Wednesday, April 20th for all TAS Profile Scanner Plus subscribers, opportunities in the current market, and strategies to profit. In this hour-long workshop, John Logan will use the TAS Profile Scanner Plus to give you a current breakdown of the sectors in the market and the opportunities that are present, as well as providing subscribers with the best strategies to trade with to profit when using this powerful piece of market scanning software. Right now, you can sign up for the TAS Profile Scanner Plus at the front page of TFNN.com. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is such an amazing piece of software that we're even offering a no questions asked money-back guarantee guarantee for all new paying subscribers. Don't delay, as John Logan's subscriber event is coming up soon. Sign up now for the TAS Profile Scanner Plus and be up and running within minutes using this powerful piece of market scanning software. With a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Sign up today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I've posted the chart for wheat. And as you'll notice here, that wheat has gone down to the 78% retracement again for about the fourth time, showing that there seems to be good demand down there. It's actually bounced a few cents off of that. I think it's trading about 460 right now in the wheat. So keep a close eye on the wheat. It's not under the pressures of crop development like we have in beans and corn, but it's still a very heavily demand market. Now, another chart that we've had a request to from one of our listeners here at TFNN is to take a look at the chart of Visa. And as you can see here, we have a classical head and shoulders pattern with the left shoulder just a little bit lower than the right shoulder. You'd like to see that right shoulder a little bit lower, at least equal, but we're a little bit higher. But we are completing a Gartley pattern up here at the $78 and change level in the Visa. That's a perfect ABCD, by the way, as you can see. Has a lot of very nice symmetry. You have the 1.4, the square root of 2, as your shoulder to your high, and then you have the 786 from your head to your shoulder. So it lines up very nicely with price and time and symmetry. So that's really one you might want to keep an eye on. Now, if this stock gets above 80, in other words, about $2.50 higher than where it is right now, this will certainly be a failed pattern, and you must stand aside. But this is one of the advantages that you have when you're looking at pattern recognition, is when the pattern fails, it's telling you that something's wrong and you've got to get out of the way. That distance is usually about 3 or 4% from point D, and that's the key that we watch. And of course, this stock does not have any major gaps in it like we have with Google and some of the others. And we're actually seeing a very similar type pattern with Google right now with the ABCD structure, but it doesn't have the head and shoulders pattern along with it like we have with Visa. So that's another one that you might want to keep an eye on just for general purposes, and you might want to maybe even look to Sell a call. Selling a call is far, far better than trying to buy a put, folks. Option buyers, they lose about 90% of the time. Option sellers, they win about 90% of the time. If you've ever been down on the floor of the CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange, there on Jackson Boulevard, you'll see them wearing badges, and then the badges say "Sell an option, buy a Mercedes," and that's what they do down there. That's what they're watching, very, very closely. Now, we've had a request from this is another request. We've had several today, which is a good thing, to talk a little bit about IWM, because last Friday everyone was talking about the breakout in IWM, and so what I did was I blew up the last month trading so we can see it a lot clearer. And you'll notice you can see the 3 drive to a top pattern that we have there. It's just almost absolutely perfectly where you have the 1.27 between 1 and 2, and then you have the 1.27 between 2 and 3, and you have the 1.618 between 1 and 3. So we got 5 numbers coming together, and that's what it looks like from the pattern standpoint in IWM. If we do get above 111 again, then this pattern has certainly failed, and we could go a great deal higher. That's going to be something that the trading gods will tell us down the road here a little bit, but that's what we're watching so far as we're moving through the day. Again, we'll have Barry Rosen on here in about 10 or 15 minutes, and that'll be a fun thing to look at. One other request that we had was from one of our listeners that wanted to ask about IBM, International Business Machines. And you'll see that we had 2 major ratios there on IBM, the 61% retracement of the high from April of last year, and also here we are topping in April of this year possibly. There's a nice cycle component there. And then we also had a really nice 1.618 expansion coming from the 3 drive to a bottom pattern that occurred from November into February 10th, which was the bottom day when we made the slightly lower low than January and then took off. And you'll notice the gap that was there that left an island on the bottom, which is a very, very powerful pattern, and that's what allowed the stock to rally more than 20% in a matter of a month. The island starts in January and ends in the middle of February, and then it has that big gap up day around the 20th of February, and then it's off to the races. You got to pay attention to island reversals, folks, because it represents a change in the continuity of thought of traders or economists or investors, whoever's involved. They've also changed their mind that something big has happened in these things, and you don't want to stand in front of those. That's the whole key to doing what we're doing, and that's I think that's rather important. That's just my opinion of looking at these things. So remember, that's all it is. It's an opinion. I'm just looking at these charts, and that's what the charts are trying to tell me, that's what we're looking at. Now, last night, let's just go into what's happening in the gold market, because that's a good one. Last night, we had a situation where I'll put this up here. I kept this on because I watch for 15 I watch charts to make ABCD patterns. That's that's the bread and butter of what I look at. And we made a beautiful ABCD pattern here in the gold down around the 1233 level. We rallied up to the 61% retracement of that previous high, and then we went down and made a slightly lower low at 1231, which is right at the 50% retracement of that whole move from 2 days ago. So that's what I'm doing now. If we can get above 1245, that will set up that 1256 level that we're looking at. That makes it look like we've got a chance, to have something good happen. However, let's play the devil's advocate here for just a minute and try to show you why we're still looking at possibly 1190 in the gold. Here is silver, and as you can see, silver has had these lower highs going back to the middle of March, and it's just lagging very, very badly. It's just something that I don't know whether it's characteristic of silver this time of the year, but it can catch up very quickly. So watch it. We need silver to get above $16, and that's an 80-cent move in one day. Whether it can do that or not, I don't know. That would certainly put gold above the 1260 level if we saw that kind of a move in silver. But that's still a little bit early. We've got the end of the week here. It's going to be basically a slight up week, which is good, but the trend is still down. We've had lower tops, lower bottoms in both gold and silver for quite some time now. So, but we are looking for a bottom. I'm very, very bullish gold, and I certainly am going to ask Barry Rosen his comments about gold when he comes on in a few minutes. So stay tuned for listening to what he has to say, because I think it'll be quite interesting to see what's going on. Okay, 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I believe we have Barry Rosen on the line. Barry, are you there?
I am here.
Thank you very much. Hey, folks, you're in sacred territory here. Barry is a really incredible financial astrologer. He's always ranked in the top of Timer Digest. And I want to congratulate you on that because, you know, in the top 10, there were 4 financial astrologers, and that was really, you know, really feather in your cap. But I think you were number 2, weren't you, in the whole list this year?
Yeah, I was number 2 for stocks this year. I think I'm number 1 the last 6 months for stocks, and I think I'm number 4 for gold the last quarter or something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
you know, it's great to get objective verification that financial astrology works.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't need verification. It's everybody else that needs the verification. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you, Larry.
Hey, listen, the question that, you know, your talk about Vedic astrology, and that is an area that I know, well, not next to nothing. I know absolutely nothing about it. Fortunately, we have Bill Meridian as a regular guest here from out of Vienna, Austria. And by the way, I will connect you with him through Skype because I know he would like to reconnect with you again. Folks, we met many years ago, going back 30 years ago, when we were all young people doing this kind of stuff. Now, you're in Fairfield, Iowa, right? In the middle of the Swami area where the all the transcendental meditation.
I live in a kind of a new age community. People are very into organic food and meditation and astrology and Ayurveda and stuff like that. It's kind of a neat place.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's just start out here, and I'll have some questions for you, of course. But I would like to show the folks, you're looking at the year, I don't even know how to pronounce this, Dharmuka?
Dharmuka.
Yeah, and it's a Vedic annual chart. Explain to folks what this is and how it's different than the classical astrology stuff that Twentyman and Winsky and other people use. How is this different?
Okay, Vedic astrology is the oldest form of astrology. It's about 10,000 years old. And it was everybody kind of invaded India, and they took a little bit of astrology, you know, to Greece and, you know, Arabia and the West. And Vedic astrology is very scientific. So the difference is they look at the precession of the equinox. So actually, the sun goes into Aries when you look up in the sky now is with if you're an astronomer on April 13th, and so that's one of the big differences. That the other thing about Vedic astrology is that transits are about 20% of the information, and these Mahadasha cycles, these grand cycles that start based on when you're born, are about 80% of the information, and they're very accurate. I've been working with Vedic astrology for 30 years, so that's those are the two big differences. I have learned so much from Western financial astrologers. I use the outer planets, I use planetary aspects in my work, but I have a lot of hidden things that come from ancient India that most people don't see. So for example, like the United States entered a new major cycle in December. It's ruled by the North Node, by Rahu. It's an 18-and-a-half-year period that we last on that started in 1895, and so that cycle is going to kind of govern a lot of what's going on in the United States over the next 18 years. And you know, Rahu has a lot to do with foreigners and immigrants, and that certainly is a huge issue that's up in the news and will continue over the next 18 years. And the last time we had that cycle, we had that huge influx of people, you know, migrating to the U.S. from Ireland and Europe and stuff like that, you know, in the 1900s. So that's one of the things that you can predict. Rahu also governs technology. So one would expect, and when the Rahu period started, it was exalted in the sign of Virgo. We'd expect an even huger increase in technological innovation in the United States during the Rahu period. In the last Rahu period, telephones came about, and there was a huge thing. So anyway, that's a quick overview of that. There's a technique that one does. It's based on it. You know, Gan went to India and studied ancient astrology, and the 60-year cycle from Gan is based on this Vedic 60-year calendar. there's a different there are different laws of nature that govern each year for a specific year, and every spring at the new moon in after the solstice, you can run a chart for a country and predict the year. And so I have an article on that on my Facebook site, Financial Astrology by Barry Rosen, and also and so that's what this year of Dumurka is. So basically, if you go back and look at the last what happened in 1956 and 1957 and 1896, 1897, you get some idea of the type of based on the Gann 60-year cycle, you get some idea of what kind of energies might be up this year. So anyway, that's why I sent you that article. I thought it's very. The Vedic New Year started yesterday because
Happy New Year.
Yeah, and it starts with the new moon in spring. The Vedic calendar is very oriented toward the new moon and the beginning of spring, so that's kind of interesting. But we have the Chinese New Year and we have the we have the regular New Year, but the ancients actually thought that the new moon was the there are a lot of people that look at the solar return year, which is April 13th, and then the Vedic New Year, which is based on the new moon, which was yesterday.
Barry, did you ever read the works of T.G. Butani? He's the only one that I ever looked at that did anything with Vedic astrology. I don't know if that name was familiar to you or not.
Yeah, that book was very instrumental in my early years of Vedic financial astrology. I mean, there are a few Vedic financial astrology does go back even tens of thousands of years even. I mean, and that's why Gann went to India. The Gann wheel came from ancient Indian tea merchants who were predicting the price of tea in the 1700s using this one of the techniques, and also there's a lot of hidden stuff in Vedic astrology that's quite fascinating that you just has gotten lost. But when you go back to the ancient roots, you find all these kind of fascinating things that really give a new dimension to prediction. I used to be able to predict the U.S. stock market to the hour using the Vedic cycles, the Mahadasha system, and since the markets have become a little bit, I did that very successful for 15, 16 years, and when the cycle switched to a Saturn period in 18...
Oh, Barry, stay with us here. We have to pay some bills with a commercial, but we'll be right back if you'll stay with us, okay? And we'll catch up.
If you're looking to discover a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, consider the new Market Safe Commodity Solution CD from Everbank. This 5-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 8 equally weighted commodities, including WTI crude oil, gold, silver, copper, nickel, soybeans, corn, and sugar, in one powerful CD. With annual pricing caps of 70% per component, you could earn up to 70% upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this indexed CD. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this financial resource designed to grow with the times. The April 14th funding deadline is quickly approaching, so hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member FDIC.
It's 2016 and TFNN has a brand new programming lineup to kick things off. Starting January 4th, Swim Lessons by Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade will be airing 5 days a week at noon Eastern Time. Join hosts Scott Connor, Kevin Hinks, and Cindy Faber as they host their daily options program live at noon 5 days a week with no commercials for the entire hour. Nico DeHaan and Paige Clark will be moving their program, Living a Primal Lifestyle, to twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 a.m. until 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Wake up with Nico and Paige and start your day off right. The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour by Nadex will now be live Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Start and end the week with the three hosts, Tom O'Brien, Tommy O'Brien, and Daryl Martin, as they break down the world of trading binary options and spreads. For all the details on the new 2016 programming lineup, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, sponsored by Nadex. Up next on TFNN.
Okay, back, folks, and we're talking with Barry Rosen of FortuneCast on astrology. And Barry, you were talking about predicting the Dow on an hourly basis, and then something shifted due to Saturn.
Yeah, well, it was basically the timing abilities in Vedic astrology are so precise that you really can get very minute, accurate information. One of the things, obviously, that's happened is when computerized trading in the stock market kicked in a big way, starting around 2009 to 2010. The markets have been very kind of different, in the way they react to computer algos, and I've adjusted my work on that, but I've had to develop new techniques to work with the changes.
This high-frequency trading, then, is what you're referring to.
Right. And I think, there are, I'm kind of amazed at the depth of Vedic astrology. I mean, there are techniques for getting hourly information aside from planetary aspects intraday and things like that. There are kind of rulers of the hour, and there's rulers of the day, and, for example, Monday is ruled by the moon, and Tuesday is ruled by Mars, and Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, and Friday is ruled by Venus. And so the ruler of the day has a dominant influence on the activity of the day. And if the ruler of the day is weak in transit or poorly aspected, that day may, be a little bit more treacherous than it might normally be. And then, it's quite fascinating. There's just a very intricate knowledge in Vedic astrology.
Well, I'd never heard of the day. That's a very interesting concept, because I look at just the classical astrology, and if I see if it's a moon day and it happens to be a Monday or something like that, then that could actually be a weighting factor that would make the aspect work better. Is that pretty much what you're saying?
Well, that's something, right. The ruler of the day may influence, have the most influence on the day. For example, sometimes you'll see some horrible aspect on a day, and the markets don't react to it, but then the next day maybe the planet ruling being affected by the aspect kicks in, and the energy will kick in, affecting that day. So the ruler day is very important. There's also the ancients used to look at Vedic astrology looks at more than 12 signs. There's 27 constellations in the zodiac that they look at, which are what the Westerners call lunar mansions, and they're common names that we're familiar with, like Arcturus and Orion and things like that, and they have ancient Sanskrit names, and each one of those constellations are ruled by different planets, and those become dominant influences on the day also. So it's Vedic astrology is much more microscopic, in the end, I use a lot of Western financial astrology techniques involving major planetary aspects, but then I can fine-tune it with the Vedic astrology, and I can do long-term forecasting with Vedic astrology. Like in 1990, when everybody was bearish and thought this, Proctor thought the market would crash again, my long-term cycle said, we're still in a Jupiter period until 1997. And I predicted the stock market would triple, the Dow would triple, between 1990 and 1997 based on long-term forecasting. So, and I was even off because it went up 4 times. But you can do long-term cyclical analysis for countries and entities and companies based on this long-term Mahadasha system. So it's quite fascinating. I just recently founded an institute last year, the London Institute for Global Economic Forecasting, to help fund managers with 5-year forecasts and 3-year forecasts, because people who are doing investing need really long-term information, and you can see it in the Vedic astrology quite well.
Well, tell us what your forecast is on 2 particular things that our readers have an interest in. Well, they have an interest in a lot of things, but mainly let's do the stock market first, and then let's do gold. Okay.
The stock market, seasonally it tends to kind of peak into May. Everybody's, has been waiting for it to kind of crash again. I do think it's in trouble June, July, and August this year. I'm not looking for a crash this year because it's an election year. And I'm kind of, I think the market's in trouble next year. I'm kind of thinking this is kind of a topping year, and that maybe, even if we were to fall to 1720 on the S&P, maybe into the summer, that we would come up for like a head and shoulders, secondary high into January of 2017. I think 2017 looks really kind of vulnerable. I mean, the people that have been looking, I have stayed away from predicting crashes for a long time because the market's been, held up by cheap investment Fed money. But I do think that the market's very vulnerable in 2017, and I think it's very vulnerable over the next 6 years with my long-term forecast. But even the Western aspects, with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in 2020 suggest a climax of the oligarchy, represented by Pluto, and the masses, affected, represented by Saturn, and the common people kind of coming together and clashing. And in Vedic astrology, we even have that conjunction with the South Node Ketu, and so it's a really kind of climactic year for the world. For gold, I like, logically gold has to go up. I mean, astrologically this year has been particularly good for gold because Jupiter is in Leo. It's in one of the lunar mansions connected with gold. Some of the same cycles that we had in 1979 when gold took off are present this year. There is a Saturn aspect to Leo, in the Vedic, and to Jupiter, which is kind of preventing gold from really kind of taking off just yet. That will lift when Saturn goes into sidereal Sagittarius. So I think when you look at 1979, when Saturn went into sidereal Virgo and got out of Leo, gold really kind of took off that year. And so I do like gold. I don't think we're going to get, there's a possibility if gold rallied in 5 ways to 1400 this year, it would still kind of pull back next year, but I do like it long term, and short term, it's probably going to run out of steam next week, but it's, it looks like it's going to, it usually falls into June, as you know, seasonally.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, you really got a wealth of information, and I hope you'll come on again if you see something that you would like to talk to us about, and I will bug you again maybe in another 30 days or so. We could have you back on again, because this subject matter of Vedic astrology has never come up. I've been exposed to it, of course, through the years, but I want to congratulate you again on your success, Barry. You've really done a wonderful job, and thank you for being our guest here at TFNN.
Thank you for having me, Larry. I'd love to come back.
and I'll let the folks know how they can reach you, and they get your email address and your website and everything. But this is Barry Rosen from FortuneCast. Thanks again, Barry. We really appreciate it, buddy.
Take care. Bye.
You bet. Well, that was certainly interesting. Anyway, we will be back after these few words from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and let's keep the eye on the ball. We have a market that has had lower tops this week. It was supposed to go down. It did. So we'll see how that works out. The dollar index still has the potential for an ABCD pattern. This will be the third one in the last 4.5 years. And every time you bought the other two, you made buku bucks. King dollar is good cause to buy the dollar. Anyway, we'll take a look at this. I'd like to make fun of our good friend Tom O'Brien. We actually have a friend here in Tucson who has 12 brothers and sisters, and he doesn't have the name of O'Brien. He's actually an Italian fellow from Cleveland. But can you imagine 13 people in the family, and they're all alive, and the mother is still alive, and she's 92. shut the front door and raise the rent. Anyway, let's take a look at the gold here. We do have some resistance up here at the 1256 level. Barry Rosen said he was looking for some weakness into next week. I hate to say hope, but I hope he's right, because I'd love to see gold come down one more time down to that 1190 level to complete this area of really good support. Barry Rosen actually worked out of the Don Mack office. Don had moved away, but there was a gentleman there named Jerry Bommering back in the 80s that taught GAN material, and quite a few of the folks that worked under Jerry. And Jerry passed away a long time ago, very quickly, of a heart attack. And he was rather young. I think he was only 55 at the time. But it was really a great place to learn. I got my Gartley book from Don Mack back in 1974. That was his gift to me, and still treasure it. Okay, keep an eye on the Dow Jones. If we close up more than 200 today, folks, this probably is not going to be a time to be bearish, but right now we've stopped relatively close to the 786 on the S&P, which comes in at around 2055. And any close below 2026 sends this thing down into another spiral to the downside. We've already seen the ABCs. Perfect. 877-927-6648.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.